Hello, this is the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Today we're looking again at solving equations, but this time the pronumeral or letter, the thing you're trying to find, will be on both sides of the equal sign. So let's have a look at the type of question that we might do. So we might have something like x plus 2 equals 3x. So this is a very simple example, but the difference between this and in previous lessons is here you have an x on both sides of the equation, whereas that wasn't true in previous lessons. So the basic idea here is that we first get x, or whatever letter it is, to one side of the equation, and then we solve as normal. But as these steps up here say, you may have to expand the brackets first. The second thing you do, you get the variable on one side of the equation by subtracting the one with the lowest coefficient. Now, coefficient means number in front of. So if I have an equation like this one here, what I want to do is I want to subtract the x with the lowest number in front of. So remember, x and 1x are the same. So what I do is I subtract x. Now, also remember that just like for all equations, what you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. So I need to subtract x from the other side as well. So let's go ahead and do this. So 1x minus x, they cancel each other out. So now, on the left-hand side of the equation, I'm just left with 2. On the right-hand side, 3x minus x equals 2x. And the third step is to just solve this as normal, and you know how to do that. We just divide each side by 2, and we get 1 equals x, okay? Let's have a look at another example. So let's say I have the equation, let's say 5 times x plus 2 equals, let's say, 7x. So in this case, there are brackets, so I need to expand the brackets first. So just like I did in previous lessons, I distribute the 5 to the x and to the 2 plus in the middle. Now it looks pretty much like the one that we just did over here. So I want to get x to one side of the equation, and I do that by subtracting the x with the lowest number in front. So obviously the x with the lowest number in front is 5x. So I subtract 5x from both sides. So 5x minus 5x is 0, so I'm just left with 10 on this side of the equation. 7 minus 5x is 2x. Then, of course, I divide each side by 2, and I get x equals 5, or 5 equals x. How easy was that? Now we're going to look at a worded problem. Please pause and copy down these examples if you need them. Okay, so let's look at this question. When I multiply a number by 4, then add 5, I get the same result as if I multiply that number by 9 and subtract 35. So I want to know what the number is. So whenever you get a worded problem in equations, your first step always is to define your variable. So let x or y, a, whatever letter you want to choose, be the thing you're trying to find. So I'm just going to let x equal the number. We just want to find what number all of this up here is true. So let x equal the number. So that's the first step. The next step, I want to transfer all this information in black. I want to write that as a mathematical equation. I want to rewrite the sentence as you see it, but only use mathematical symbols. So I take the number, multiply by 4, then add 5. And that is the same as, that's what equals means, as taking that number, multiplying by 9, and subtracting 35. So I want to find what the number is. So now that I've got to this stage, this is exactly the same as the examples that we just went through. So I want to get all the x's to one side of the equation, and I do that by subtracting the x with the lowest number in front of it. So I'm going to subtract 4x from both sides. 4x minus 4x is 0. So I'm just left with 5 on this side of the equation equals 5x minus 35. Now you know how to solve this equation. It's just like ones we've been doing heaps. So this one's a 2-step equation. So I need to get x by itself. So I'm going to add 35 to both sides, because the opposite of subtracting 35 is adding 35. So then I get 5 plus 35 is 40 equals 5x, because this 35 and this 35, they'll cancel each other out. So then you probably know I need to divide each side by 5. So 40 divided 5 is 8. So I get 8 equals x, or x equals 8. Doesn't matter which way around you write it. So then, because it was a worded question, I'll give a worded answer. Therefore, the number is 8. And that makes sense, because if you multiply 8 by 4, you get 32. Add 5, you get 37. If I multiply 8 by 9, I get 72. And if I subtract 35, I also get 37. So I can be confident I've done the right thing. Hope you've enjoyed the video. This has been the luckiest maths teacher in the world. Have a great day.